So guys, notice Muhammad rides the clouds of heaven. So he must be God. He will receive ibadah from all nations and all languages, must be God. So that means we should say, La ilaha illallah wa Muhammad. There is no deity except Allah and Muhammad. Anyway, brother, if you have any questions, let's discuss it.
Yeah. Coincidentally, do you know what the Muslim brother quoted?
What did he quote?
In 7:157, he quoted Daniel 2, Daniel 7, Song of Solomon 5:16.
Excellent.
He even quoted the Book of John for some reason.
So, guys, understand. He when he brought up the passage to this Muslim, chapter 7:157, that says the Torah and the Gospels with them that contain a prophecy of the Ummi prophet. He went to chapter 2 of the Quran that talks about the stone that wasn't made with hands, and that's Islam. But even if we go with that as a Prophet Muhammad, how do we know that whoever this is, he's going to be an Ummi? It says the Ummi prophet, unlettered prophet, right? Where does Daniel 2 mention that? Right? And it's not. If you read it, Daniel 2, 34, 35, we did a session, Avery and I, it's on his channel, Daniel 2, 34, 35, and Daniel 2, 44, 45, we did a session showing that kingdom, that stone that wasn't made with hands, will be established during the time of the four kingdoms, meaning when you still had Roman power and the other kingdoms that were vanquished still in existence. And it says, then it became a huge mountain, meaning the kingdom would slowly expand and slowly increase until it engulfs the world. And when did Jesus show up? He showed up in the 1st century during the 4th kingdom, the Roman Empire. And he says, the kingdom of God is at hand. And from that time on, his kingdom has been expanding, eventually will engulf the world. And even the rabbis say that's about the kingdom of the Messiah. Right? Now, do they want to use Daniel? Because if they want to use Daniel, do they agree there's a man? Daniel 7, 13 and 14, there's a man who will rule forever and who will be given ibadah. You know the prophecy, Daniel 7, 13 and 14, the Son of Man, one like a Son of Man, rides the clouds of heaven. You know that prophecy, right?
Yeah, I know the prophecy. But the thing is, it's never been debated on YouTube anywhere.
I've actually responded to some Jewish attempts, and if Muslims want to debate me on it, I'll love to, because they'll say, well, it means Israel collectively. That's a lie. The oldest interpretation of the one like Son of Man, the oldest interpretation, is that
I know Central Dawah likes to use as Daniel 2 or Daniel 7.
Daniel 7. So wait, Central Dawah commits shirk, huh?
He sure does.
So because I want you to explain to me, how is it? Because it says all nations, all language, all tribes will serve him. And the word for serve in Arabic is ibadah. This means that all creatures will give him ibadah, violating Tawheed?
Yeah,
really?
I don't believe in that.
But wait, he says, right? Central Dawah says that's Muhammad, right?
He says it, yeah.
Okay, but so I'll go with him. All right, good. So that means he's admitting he's a Muhammadan who worships Muhammad, because it says all nations and all language tribes will serve him. Pilach, the Aramaic, but forget Pilach. Let's go with Arabic. In Arabic, it would be the word ibadah. Like when you say Tawheed al-Ibadah. Ibadah, you give only to Allah. Tawheed al-Ibadah, Tawheed uluhiyah. Worship, serving Allah alone. But here it says that all nations and all languages will give him ibadah forever and ever. So that means he's admitting that Muslims worship Muhammad. Excellent. That's what we've been saying. But then secondly, it says he rides the clouds of heaven. I will show you from the Quran itself, as well as the Old Testament, the only figure who rides the clouds of heaven is God, even in ancient Near Eastern pagan myths. Don't take my word for it. Get any commentary in Daniel, like John J. Collins. He's a liberal. He's not a conservative, doesn't believe in the Bible. He's a professor of the Old Testament. And he says that riding the clouds was a function of God's. In fact, in Canaanite mythology, the Canaanites believe Baal, he rode on the clouds of heaven. Riding the clouds of heaven is something only a divine being does. Old Testament says that's something only Yahweh and the angel of Yahweh do, because the angel's not a creature. So is he saying that Muhammad is a divine being because he rides the clouds of heaven?
Yeah, he is. He's saying that Muhammad rode the clouds when on his night journey.
And it's not taught about night journey because it says he went to the Ancient of Days, and that's when he was given a kingdom to reign forever. So Central Dawah believes that Muhammad went to Allah, Bayt al-Ma'mur, and he was then made king.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Wow, the Central Dawah is an interesting character. But according to your Quran, Surah Al-Baqarah, chapter 2, verse 210, chapter 2, verse 210, it says when the Jews are disputing with Muhammad, they're saying, we will wait for the day of judgment. And then the response is what? Do they wait for Allah to come in the shadow of the clouds with the angels? So even there, it's telling you, Muhammad and the Jews knew it is Allah who comes on the shadows of the clouds on the day of judgment. Something that Central Dawah saying Muhammad does. So guys, notice, Muhammad rides the clouds of heaven. So he must be God. He will receive ibadah from all nations and all languages, must be God. So that means we should say, La ilaha illallah wa Muhammad. There is no deity except Allah and Muhammad. Sheikh, what are you waiting for? Can you explain to me, Sheikh, now, honestly? Daniel is not written by Christians. Daniel is a pre-Christian book. Even liberal scholars who give a later dating to Daniel will say, yes, this is pre-Christian. But here you have two divine powers. The oldest interpretation, even rabbinic interpretation. Don't believe Tovia Swinger. I'll show him on Chabad.org. A medieval rabbi named Rashi. He's considered one of the greatest rabbis that ever lived. They have a commentary online, Chabad.org, an Orthodox Jewish website. They have their own translation of the Hebrew Bible in English with Rashi's commentary. He can open it up. You want me to get you the link or you have it?
I don't have it, Andrew.
Okay, go to Chabad.org. You're going to see, he's going to say, this Son of Man is King Messiah. It's the Messiah. So my question to you is, he brings it up so you can see rabbinic tradition, the book of Enoch, for Ezra, as well as Christian tradition, all agree the earliest, oldest Jewish interpretation, which is Enoch for Ezra. And rabbinic Judaism affirms Daniel 7, 13, 14, that Son of Man is the Messiah, agreeing with Christians. Well, we Christians believe Jesus is God the Son, distinct from the Father, equal to him in glory and power and dominion. So he's God in flesh, which is why he rides the clouds and why everyone will worship him. That's why we're Trinitarian. But since you're a Muslim, how do you then reconcile Daniel with the Quran? Because in the Quran, chapter 17, verse 111, we'll look at it in a minute. And chapter 25, verse 2, it says, Allah has no son and no partner in his dominion over the heavens and the earth. How do you reconcile Daniel with the Quran? And it's not a Christian book, it's a Jewish book. So open up.
I personally don't believe Daniel 7 or Daniel 2 talking about the prophet. I think it's shirk.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying, how do you reconcile Daniel 7, the Son of Man, being a second divine person, if the Old Testament agrees with the Quran over against the New Testament? Now here, guys, this is Chabad.org. It's an Orthodox Jewish site. It's not Christian. And it has Rashi's commentary, a medieval rabbi who despised Christianity as well as Islam. But he's going to show you. Watch here. Okay, I saw in the visions of the night, and behold, the clouds of heaven, one like a man, because Son of Man, Bari Nash means man. And he came up to the Ancient of Days and was brought before him. Now, Sheikh, you see in that box, it says one like a man was coming. Can you read that for me?
One like a man was coming. That is the King Messiah.
So you think you're the Sheikh, huh? I want him to read it, bro.
He called the Sheikh. Of course.
I'm sorry, bro. Absolutely. Okay, now, Sheikh, Muslims, this is Daniel. Check it here. An Orthodox Jewish website. Rashi, a medieval rabbi who did not like Christianity or Islam. And he admits that the view of the Son of Man is that this is King Messiah. That's what we've been saying for years, that the Son of Man is the Messiah and happens to be Jesus. Now, Sheikh, here's a dilemma for you. The Jews don't accept Jesus as the Messiah. They don't think the Messiah has come. But the Jews agree with the Christians. Messiah is the Son of Man who rides the clouds of heaven, who reigns forever as king, and whom all will worship. All languages, all peoples, including the Arabs. But you agree with us, Messiah is Jesus. So aren't you worshiping him? Because that's what Daniel said you got to do. Otherwise, you suffer the consequences. So aren't you worshiping him?
Wait, so why don't Jewish people believe in him?
Not all Jews reject him. The Jews who don't believe Jesus is the Messiah, like Tovia Singer, they say Jesus not Messiah, but they agree Messiah is the king who rules forever and everyone must worship. So do you agree the Messiah has come?
Oh,
You
that's
got
tough.
it. Yes, you're a Muslim, man.
Yeah.
Is that Messiah Jesus?
Well, Jesus is the Messiah, yeah.
According to Daniel, that Messiah is your king and he is your God whom you must worship. So how come you're not worshiping Jesus, the Messiah?
I got no comment.
That's why it's time for you to check out Leave Islam. But you're on your way to leave Islam. Come to Jesus.